Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this wonderful world of ours. Welcome to episode number 100 of The Dog, the Laptop. And I'm not on mute, I don't think. I don't think I'm on mute right now. I had to double check if I was on mute. Yes, a special celebration episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm so excited for the show and everything that I have lined up. But you know that Twitch world sometimes, no, think positive, Lap. Think positive. Hope you guys have your coffee ready to rock and roll, your beverage, your water, your tea, your soft drink, your who knows what, if it's the late hours somewhere in Europe or Asia. Thank you so much again for everyone for being here. This is, again, episode 100. Woohoo! Episode 100. I've got the tie. I had to sport the American tie today because most viewers are from America. Most of my subscribers from America. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and most of my guests today are American. However, in Canada, we have a law. We have to have Canadian content. So there is one Canadian coming on a little bit later. So again, guys, yeah, looking forward to the show. Again, thanks for those that followed today. Big shout out. Tesuiji, thank you. I saw the subscription come in. Tesuiji, make sure you go follow him. Man, there is another Canadian that is rocking and rolling with his streams, and he's got some new emotes you might want to go check out on his next stream. So feel free, Tesuiji, to advertise when your streams are in the chat. And of course, EVC is here. D King, Wildcat Bandit, Cubs fan Steve, Heath Dog, Ezra is back from his little holiday. You guys, the whole crew is here. Thank you so much. We have people from all over the world. We're representing 5, 6, 7, 8 different countries right now, and probably more to come in. So not going to go through my regular startup promoting the game because you guys know the game, but I am going to promote myself a little bit because, hey, it's my 100th episode. I have to, before you can move forward, you have to look back, right? Isn't that a prophetic quote? So I am Laptop Hound. I stream Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, roughly around this time, give or take a few minutes here or there. And even though this is my 100th episode regular stream on Twitch, I did start off doing some other social media on a platform you might have heard of called YouTube, with that little red box with the triangle in there. Yeah, I did start off there making content for 3 different platforms. OOTP, of course, with OOTP 22, some content there. I also did some content for, and this is all just, me just having fun as a fan of the sites. I did some content for a site called Quid, and again, another great community over there. And even though this is OOTP, again, I'm reflecting back, so I'm going to put these links in there just in case you guys like to collect digital things. This is different digital cards from different series, Steven Universe, we got some Funko, we got some Valiant, we got Neopets, we got Arrested Development. They have over 150 different brands there that you can collect. So did some videos kind of promoting them, and also currently doing some, pro bono work, some work with another site called Neon Mob. And Neon Mob, if you have an artist in the family, if you have someone that likes to draw, this is one of those hidden gems. Just like OOTP is a hidden gem for simulation baseball. And then when you find it, you go like, OOTP, where have you been all my life? Well, the same can be said for this site here, Neon Mob, where you can collect different artwork from, former artists, current artists. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Judge Magazine, but you can go and it's mainly free to play. So it's good because you don't have to spend a dime and you can collect different artwork. And not only that, but the reason I wanted to bring that up is because if you have an artist in your family, you can also, which is really cool, you can create your own trading card series. Yeah, you can create. And if you're an amateur, just someone starting out, you have different regulations there. And you can also submit your pro work too and earn cash. Yeah, you can earn cash. And again, I'm doing this because I love the site. I love the brand. And I know some of you may know some artists that want to make a little extra money and create their own little trading cards. This is the site that they can do that. All the questions are answered there. There's a little creator handbook on how you get started, how you submit different pieces of artwork. The only thing is they are against AI art. So you can't just, go to an AI generator and, randomly create cards to put on there. So yeah, check out Neon Mob, check out Quid if you want to. Two sites that I started with along with OOTP. And then my YouTube career began. OOTP, my very first video over a year ago. Here is my awesome thumbnail from that very first video. Whew, boy, yeah, things have come a long way with my development of Photoshop and other things. So very first video was a perfect team, starting off, opening up my starter packs, creating my very first gladiator team back at the end of April 2022. And of course, moving over to Twitch, once I found out that Twitch is available and you can stream live and you can provide drops for the community, then I came over to Twitch, and September 29th was my very first Twitch video. Yeah, September 29th. And believe me, it was a struggle. I started with OBS and had some issues there and eventually moved to the platform I use now. And I was faceless. I was not on stream probably for the first, maybe 10 episodes. It was just a voiceover. And it's kind of continued from there with the Twitch hitting 100 episodes. You may ask, Lap, what was your first historical perfect you pulled on stream? So here's a quiz to the community. Those of you've been following me since day 1 or day 21. Does anyone remember what my first historical perfect card pulled was? Yeah, do you remember? Heath with the win. Yes, it was the Negro League's Jackie Robinson was the very first one that I pulled. And it was not Baz. No, Baz actually was the last one before I went over to OOTP 24. So EVC just, flip things around a little bit and you'll have it. So yes, that was my first historical live or historical perfect. I don't remember the other, ones that came after that, but it was a pretty exciting moment because I think DishNet had pulled one a week before or a couple weeks before. And at that time, Jackie was like one of the top cards. So it was really cool to get. Of course, in OOTP 23, my Gladiators went on and had a bunch of different success. They ended up winning 1 gold, 4 diamond. So yeah, they didn't worry about rookie and stone. They didn't even play in rookie, stone, iron, because after that entry pool in the first week, you'll remember that some are promoted right to silver if you do well in the entry pool, and the Rocky Mountain Gladiators were promoted right to silver. They dropped down to bronze for a week or two, and then after that, they never looked back, and they continued on and had a lot of success, including 5 weeks at the perfect league level. Yes, 5 weeks that the Gladiators spent there in OOTP 23. You can see that, they were in diamond for pretty much from 2049, even earlier on, making the playoffs a bunch of times, but just couldn't always win that championship. Always the bridesmaid, right? Gabagool Luigi, always the bridesmaid. And eventually they would go on and win diamond a few times. Probably my proudest achievement in OOTP 23, gameplay-wise, was not only making Perfect League in 2075, but sticking there an extra week. Yeah, being able to stay in Perfect League for an extra week. So that was probably my my proudest moment. Never did get one of those cool desktop trophies. One day, OOTP, I will have that sitting on my desk, and it will be my Stanley Cup. So that is my, brief look at OOTP 23. I still look in on it once in a while and, check how the team's doing, but not very often. I've got like 200 packs there that I just don't have time to open up. But you know what? Since we have a little bit of time, let's just go and reminisce a little bit with OOTP 23. For those of you that still play it, of course, you know what it's all about. But let's spend maybe 2 minutes looking at OOTP 23. I'm going to open up a couple packs just to refresh your memory a little bit. Like I said, I got a lot of packs. I just don't have time to open them all. But let's check it out. Let's relive some old times. The only two or three cards that would really help me now is Ty Cobb, Josh Gibson, and probably Roger Hornsby would be the three that I would love to have on my Gladiators. So let's open up a few diamond packs. Of course, there is the nice live cards, and how fitting it would be to get a Jackie Robinson. Synchronicity, circle of life, circle of OOTP. Let's open up a few packs. Tom Brown, I can't even remember you, and that's probably because I don't own you yet. So here we go. We have a Tom Brown from the dead ball era. Woohoo! As I celebrate. Woo! Maybe that was so 8 months ago that I would celebrate. Let's go and if in the chat, guys, I'm not only am I kind of reliving some of my memories, but feel free to share some of yours. What were some of your highlights of OOTP 23? What were the best cards that you pulled? How did your theme teams do? What were if you had one or two memories that you could share, what would they be with OOTP 23? There we go. We've got a Joey Votto. Again, card I don't have right now. Joey Votto, which again at one point would have me dancing around, but not today because Joey Votto is out of date already and won't play on this Gladiator team. There we go. We got a gold and a diamond. We have Carl Willis and the second Scott Effross. So there's a hint. Maybe get Scott Effross into your live lineup. Two more packs, and then we're going to move on. Again, my breaks are going to be different today, guys. We're not taking a big break every hour. We're going to take breaks kind of every segment. So every 25 minutes or so, we are going to have a 1.5 minute break. So not too long, not too short, but got to get in those 3 minutes per hour because otherwise they have the pre-rolls on and anyone joining has to sit through those pre-rolls, which I do. Okay. Well, we have this. And hey, how fitting it is, 100th episode to pull a perfect card. Thank you, OOTP, for chipping in here. Here we go. What do we got? We've got a Diamond Bryce Harper and Rob Deere and Headlights. If this is a Shane Baz, I'm going to cry on live on stream. The perfect card is a AJ Minter. Well, there we go. Better than a 40 level iron card, that's for sure. So yeah, a little bit of fun with OOTP 23. All right, let me remove that back and put back my main screen. Thanks again for all of you that are joining in, just celebrating, remembering, talking to a few people about the last 100 episodes. As you guys may or may not know, I am a former teacher of 32 years. I was in the public school system, high school, social studies, a little bit of technology and computer classes as well. And as a teacher, you pretty much teach anything you're given. So early on, I taught some phys ed, some science, some language arts, a mishmash of things. Eventually kind of settled in history and social studies. So I love the cooperation. I love the talking. I love the interacting with other people, bouncing ideas off each other. And So with my OOTP streaming, I like to do that as well. And early on, I had the fantastic opportunity of interviewing a couple of the affiliates. And I really enjoyed that. I interviewed Yuka, I interviewed Tetsuiji, put out a video on YouTube. This is before I started doing things on Twitch. And it was my first time really getting to know those two affiliates, and kind of helped inspire me to want to become an affiliate as well. So yeah, that is on the YouTube channel. And Tetsuiji, I wasn't sure because you're coming up in a later photo, so I had to give Yuka a little bit of love early on. Of course, a couple of my proudest moments are working with the affiliates on providing the community with a couple marathons. We did one at the beginning of, just before Christmas, I believe, in mid-December-ish. And that was a fun time. We did 12 hours straight of affiliate-produced content. And I was so fortunate. There you are, Tetsuiji. Look at that handsome Canadian. And look at Tetsuiji as well. Just kidding. Just kidding. Two, we got the corner handsome Canadians there. So yeah, it was fun getting to have 4 or 5 affiliates on in December, just as we were kicking off that streamathon. And of course, did a second one about a month ago. Was able to organize a longer one, 33 plus hours, more affiliates, some new, some old, and had a lot of giveaways during that time. And Chess Safari is still recovering from watching all or most of the 33 hours. So those were a couple of big highlights for me. Of course, streaming wise, I did my 64 team legend tournament where we had 64 teams. We spun the wheel to see who played each other and ended up with the final 4, where the 1985 Padres would become victorious. So that was a lot of fun. And currently, of course, doing my Babe in the Matrix series. So lots of cool things with that series too. He's heading to Cubs fans Steve's favorite team, the Chicago Cubs, next Tuesday. So there is a quick, kind of very, very quick overview of where I started, where I've come from, what I'm doing now. But the bulk of today's show is to talk about the 100 episodes and to bring people on that have been here before and share what they've been up to over the last 100 episodes or so. All right, let me just check things out here. Before I bring on my first guest, hey, why not? Why not? And let's do our first giveaway. I said I was going to do them throughout the show. So we are going to do our first giveaway for 10 standard packs. I'm not going to give you much time, but get those entries in. Exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. And I'm going to run my first ad break right now, guys. And then we're going to bring on the first guest. We'll be back in a minute and a half. Stay tuned. Lots of shenanigans on the way. All right, welcome back in. Thanks, all of you that have joined in. Thanks to the recent follows. Thanks again to Tetsuiji for the subscription a little bit earlier. Well, it is time to bring on my first guest to help me celebrate the 100th stream. And going to give you a little clue, first of all, who this first guest is. Just going to show you an image and see if you can guess who I'm going to have on first. Does this ring any bells? Who this might be? See what you guys think there. Who is coming on the stream first? Mick Jagger, Kiss, Dish, Tim Tebow. Well, Heath is on a roll. I'd like to bring back the one, the only Vulcan. Vulcan21. You may know him on the Twitch streams as 39 Cobra. How you doing, Vulcan? Good to have you here.
Good afternoon. Happy 100th. Happy 100th.
Hey, thank you so much. For those of you that are new to my streams or new to OOTP, Vulcan has been on my stream. He's the community member that's been on my stream the most. He's been on 3 or 4 times. He was back on in December where he analyzed the Ace of Bronze. Remember those Ace of Bronze tournaments? He was giving us information from his spreadsheets, his Excel, and really helped pinpoint the best bronze players to use in OOTP 23. He came back on in February and kind of gave us an update about cards that you should be using in your bronze tournament in OOTP. And then at the end of OOTP, Cobra and I recorded an episode where he ripped 25 or more perfect packs. Yeah, he just sold everything pretty much he had, and he went on a final ripping spree and got cards like Buck Ewing. And you can catch the video on my YouTube channel if you want to see all 25 plus perfect cards that he picked up. So no stranger to the stream. Cobra is on today to not talk bronze, but he's going to give us some advice for your iron, your quick iron tournaments. I've been waiting for this. Cobra, what have you got for us today?
Well, since I've been on 2, 3, 4 times, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield coming on the old Johnny Carson show. I'm the last minute guest.
You're like Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn this around a little bit before we start. I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh, I didn't expect this.
That's right. So, what the hell do I do with 100,000 channel points?
You hoard them. You hoard them until I figure what the heck to do.
Oh, that's right. PG channel. Sorry.
Yeah. What the heck to do in Twitch to make use of those channel points? I am still a Twitch newbie in terms of behind the scenes things. So be fortunate for what you got so far. But I will work on something to do with those channel points.
I'm not spending 10,000 on an emoji for a day, so I'm not gonna.
See, hoard them, keep them saved up.
I hear you there. So, just kind of real quick, I was doing the Ace of Bronze last year, and I was doing the spreadsheets, kind of doing my own thing. And I'll disclaim this that I'm not an expert at it, but I kind of have my own take on it, and just kind of try to figure out who the best cards are just by using the observed stats that I see that are created from the data collection that I use, and determine who it is. And like you and I are a little bit of the same, we get a feel for a player, and I'm going to try him, and if he works out, he works out. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So this year I kind of switched to iron, and I got a little tired of looking at the spreadsheet. So what I wanted to do is kind of a twofold thing, is look at get the stats, but I'm more of a visual person. I look at visuals better than I do at, the numbers and the stats, and the green, red, and yellow was getting a little old. So what I did when they did the update on the 15th of this month is I downloaded Power BI from Microsoft, and I've never used it. I've been using it for only 2 weeks now, literally 2 weeks. Had zero knowledge of it, didn't know how to code it, didn't know how to do anything, and put together a new presentation, new visual format for Iron based on the cards that are in Iron right now. So let me pull my screen up here.
All right, yeah, let's share that screen, and I've got the Cobra team on for this segment here, because Cobra, if you don't know, is a huge 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates fan, loves the Willie Stargell era. So how fitting to put on a Pirates hat. Is one of the Major League Baseball hats that's not a Canadian team that I do have. All right, so Cobra is going to show you some of the results he's had from his Iron tournament. While we're waiting for that, I am going to do the draw for the contest. You got 15 seconds, 10 standard packs, and then we're going to close that off and pick our first winner. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giveaway is closed. The giveaway is closed. We've got 91 entries. And the winner of 10 standard packs is Tesuiji. Hey, synchronicity. Now, subscribing doesn't get you an automatic win, but it worked out for Tesuiji this time. So Tesuiji, I will get your username. You can either DM me it or you can put it on a Whisper or whatever, however you want to do it, whichever theme team or regular team account you want those to go to. And we will do our next draw very soon. So stay tuned. All right. So Cobra, we're down to about 12 minutes left. So go ahead and share some of your iron results.
Okay. So this is my iron stats that I've collected. And what I did was, just for naming conventions, if you see league, it's iron tourney. It's the quick iron tourneys. It's naming convention LG, so don't get it confused. It's only iron tourneys, but just for me, I know what it means. So what I did is I did the overall statistics for hitting and for pitching. So here's some of the categories that I created just to kind of get an overview of the league and where everybody's hitting. Now, one thing to note is that after the update, there was some changes in the numbers. So the two that I'll point out are batting average and BABIP. So batting average before the update was right around 212, 209, 215. It kind of varied every little bit. And then BABIP was right around the 260 mark. So what I've seen is a 20-point jump in batting average. And I know that's not the best stat to use, but I like to use it. And then BABIP went up 20 points too. So what that tells me is that on the back end of the servers, and this is my assumption, is that it was a fixed rate in the calculations of, how they run the game, is that it was a fixed rate. So everything went up 20 points. So I don't have the old data, but I remember from what it was. And so I know what it looks like. So it's about a 20-point jump in each one.
Okay. Now, I think what a lot of people want, those that play iron tournaments are kind of, a lot of times we're impatient. We just tell us who we should get, which card should we get. And again, we won't have time to pick apart every single player. Maybe we can do that on a longer stream some other time. Yep. But what are you showing in terms of the data collection you've collected in terms of players that we should be keeping an eye out for those iron quicks?
Okay, I'll go to the real quick one. So what I did is this is where I created the hitter BABIP and the pitcher BABIP per day to see the trends, to see where it goes and where they're averaging. So that's just kind of some charts that you can do in Power BI. And, depending on, if it's a switch hitter, here's where switch hitters hit in BABIP. Here's where right-handers hit in BABIP. And here's where lefties hit in BABIP. So this is kind of their averages. And it'll tell you their averages for lefties, for switch hitters, what their BABIP is. And that's key because, you got to hit the ball and play to make it work. So that's just a quick little chart that I made. And then I did league pitching BABIP too, where here's the aggregate of all of them. And then here's the daily BABIP. I wanted to see if it correlated with hitting BABIP. And, here's where left-handers are, here's where right-handers are. So each day, it averages 225 BABIP for right-handers and 228 for left-handers. So that just kind of gives me an overview of where things are going and make sure there's no outliers and it stays pretty even. And you could tell it between the 220 and 240, it stays pretty constant for right-handers. And that's predominantly the most pitchers in that league. So then what I did is I did the top 5 per position. Now, this is based upon their primary position. So you may see players in other positions that play different positions. Let's see, Kingman's is a good example. He plays third and he plays first. So you'll see him in a couple different categories. So he's played 4,000 plate appearances with at first listed as his primary position, and he's played 40,000 based upon his primary position at third base. So what I did is I kind of added some different categories to each of the positions. WAR, batting average, and the WOBA for all of them. Where they hit for WOBA, some of their on-base percentages. Added zone ratings. Your second base, what's their zone rating? Now these are summaries. I haven't normalized these yet. I've got to normalize them yet, but like I said, I've only spent like a couple hours a day with Power BI, so there's a lot to learn. The coding, the syntax, the DAX language. So I've just kind of broken into it and just did some simple stuff. But these are the top 5 per position based upon plate appearances.
Okay, so not necessarily the best players, but these are the players that are being used the most in your quick tournaments.
Correct. And it just kind of gives you some different, stats. And like Jimmy Ryan's got 2,000 stolen bases, but his stolen base percentage, based on what I've seen, is right around 58%, and that's a little low. So,
okay, and of course you can sort these by any way you want. And so these are taking from a sample size of how many tournaments that you had played in?
I do probably 15 to 20 tournaments a day. I collect the data for the last 10 or 12, and a lot of it just depends on the day. And if I feel like collecting more, I will. Usually it's 10, and that's 10 tournaments per day. Whether I do well or not, I just take the last 10, and sometimes I'll split it up. I'll go first 5, middle 5. It just kind of get a different sample set. Different times of the day.
All right. And okay, so let's move on to the next one then, looking at some of the specific players. So now we're looking at the top 20 right-handed batters, left-handed batters, and then switch hitters.
And it's all based upon plate appearances.
And D King is asking how you collect this. You can pull these all in, correct, through the game?
Yeah. So what I do is you go into the tournament, you click on examine the tournament. You go to the stats page, you download stats, then it goes to, mine goes to the browser, I copy it, and then I copy it into Excel. So this is Excel data, but in a more visual format using Power BI. So Excel is way better at doing calculations and doing a lot of other things, but this is for me, it's for visual, where I can take a quick look and say, okay, hey, here's Jimmy Ryan. Here's what he's doing. He's 20% K rate, 13% walk rate. He's hitting 284 as a batting average. He's got 374 WOBA. Or if I don't want to see Jimmy Ryan, I want to look at a switch hitter. Let's say Nick Punto, and then it'll pop up his stats over here. Okay.
And so you've just got the top 20 again based on plate appearances in the tournaments you're entered.
Yeah, based upon bat handedness.
Okay, so let's go on to positions then.
Positions. So these are all the positions that I've collected the data for. So I can these are the total. If I want to do, let's say we'll do first baseman. So I think these are based upon. Let me check my filters. I think these are based on 1,000 plate appearances. Yeah, I think it's 1,000 plate appearances. So you're not getting guys with 4 or 5 plate appearances at position. So if we look at like a guy like Adam Dunn, this will switch him, and it'll tell you his plate appearances, his BABIP, his slugging. These are categories that I've added. The home run rate, this isn't right. I got to adjust the formula a little bit. It's not correct. And then what I added is a BABIP target. So the league BABIP that I wanted is 350, and you can change that around, and you can put in league batting too, whatever you want to do. So I just put 350 as the target, just kind of a little cool graph, and say, okay, here's where he's hitting, and if you go to catchers, here's where he's hitting.
And we should move on to pitching here. We got about 3 or 4 more minutes, so maybe just a quick kind of overview of what you found with the pitching.
Okay, here's the top pitching, and this is based on 1,000 innings pitched, I believe. So these are all the top pitchers based upon innings pitched. So ERA, BABIP, WOBA, and then the WHIP. And then if you just pick, we'll just pick Al Leiter. So this is kind of where his, through the days, the graph of where his BABIP is per tournament or per day. It's per day. And then this gives you his, how he's pitching. He's pitched X amount of innings total. That's his pitcher BABIP. That's his WOBA. That's his WHIP, ERA, so on and so forth. And a lot of like Carl Lundgren, he gets used the most, and there's where he is at.
Okay. Well, just before we go here, again, love to have you back for more in-depth analysis coming up. But in terms of, let's recommend one or two pitchers that are must-haves based on performance, and one or two hitters that are must-haves. Who would you recommend for those that are just getting into iron?
I would say Al Leiter for sure for the lefties. And for the righty, I really like Wally Bunker.
Oh, okay. Wally Bunker and Al Leiter, two pitchers that you should definitely be looking for.
Yep.
And
hitting wise, obviously it's Jimmy Ryan, and then it's Jimmy Ryan's number one, obviously. And then it's a toss-up. I would say I like Dave Brain a little bit, just due to the fact that he's versatile. He can play a couple different positions, second, third, and short, whether he starts or backs up. That's another guy that I really like.
Okay, and last question for you. Last week, we've got the 40 iron Jose Canseco. Tell us a little bit about what your stats are showing early on with the new limited edition Jose Canseco. Is that a card worth paying up for to have in iron?
Well, so imagine you ask that question. Here he is.
Okay, so for us that don't really interpret stats that well, they look good.
Well, he's only got 44 plate appearances and 2 days worth of data.
So hitting, I'd say he's on the pace to be meta based on what he's doing so far.
Yep.
Okay. Well, any last closing that you wanted to show before we move you out of here and move on to the next guest? Anything else, Cobra?
This is my team, and this is kind of some stuff this is some of my team here. I just like these cool little graphics you can do, and you can kind of go through, and here's Jimmy Ryan, and here's what he's doing. Here's his trends for hitting, and then I did a forecast. Where he's going to forecast, and that's really about it. Just you can visualize it a lot better when you look at it this way, because you can say, okay, here he is. Not have to go through column after column. You can see it right here where he's at.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, like I said, I'd like to have you back and go into this a little bit more depth, but I think you gave definitely some valuable information for not only those that already play iron, but those that are thinking about playing those iron tournaments. Cobra, thank you so much for coming on the 100th episode today. And Cobra is in my Discord, and he has said that if you have any questions that you want to ask about iron tournaments, you just put that in the chat. If you're not in my own Discord, head over there, and Cobra will help you out. He can answer questions on Iron Quick tournaments all day if he has to. Yeah. So thanks, Cobra. Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead and ping me on the thing so that I know that you asked me a question, because I may not know where it's at, what channel. So just, if you want, just ping me, and that's fine. And I can,
we are going to create a separate channel called Ask Cobra. How about that? There we go.
Oh, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Cobra, for being on, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks. See you later.
Yeah. All right. Before we head on to our next guest, we are going to do another draw. We know how you guys like packs, so let me go and set it up very quickly. 10 packs once again to one user, and exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. We're going to take our next short little break here, guys. We will be back in a minute and a half with guest number 2. All right, welcome back in. Thank you again, Cobra Vulcan, for popping in and sharing some of your time with us today. Next guest that we have down is extremely familiar. Sometimes, when I am streaming and trying to help people out, sometimes I feel like that father hen or mother hen, and sometimes I feel like just like to organize and collaborate and all those other kind of things. And sometimes there's the younger generation that I feel like are almost family, like a son or a daughter. And one of these individuals that I've had the pleasure of working with and collaborating with over the last 100 episodes is very familiar to you guys. And that is the one, the only. Who is it? Come on. Who is it? Yes, it is the Star Wars fan himself, who has been part of our Hawk Report for 8 or 9 episodes, whether it was Starsky and Hutch or Star Wars or Step Brothers or Wayne's World, whatever it might be. Your Kidnies. How's retirement going?
It's going pretty well. Been hanging out. I still got a bit to do. I'm not totally out of the woods yet. 2, maybe even 3 spreadsheets over the next 2 weeks. One of them is almost done. So,
all right. So yes, if your Kidneys has not disappeared, he is still around the community. And if you want to go, if you're not part of his Discord already, get part of his Discord, because he's definitely there to answer questions, help you out with cards, and take you on your path, hopefully to glory. So thank you so much, Kidneys, for coming on. I know it's only been a couple of weeks, and
I know
the slippers are not even worn out yet from retirement. But thanks so much for sharing some time. Of course, the Hawk Report, where Kidneys and I looked at the newest cards that were released. And I wanted Kidneys on because he was the first person that I reached out to when I thought about streaming on Twitch. And I did YouTube videos, and I thought, maybe I can do this Twitch thing. So I reached out to him because I knew he was a streamer and affiliate. And I said, what is the process? What do I have to do? And he's probably like, why did you come to me? But I've known your Kidneys in not a formal way, but I've been part of his Discord for over a year now, I think. And I always, recognize him when I was watching OOTP videos. So I was just naturally drawn to go and ask Kidneys. And of course, one thing that the Kidneys and I did on our stream was the Generation Showdown. One of my favorite parts of the stream was to do that showdown, where we would each open 9 packs, a 9-inning game, and see who could collect the most points. So I thought, on my 100th episode, why not? Why not bring that back one more time at least and see who can win this showdown? Feel free to open packs as well and see how you guys do. Perfect card or LE card, 7 points. Diamond, 5. Gold, 2 points. Mystery card is going to be 1 point. We're going to ignore the cards from today because there are no cards from today. And you, as the guest, get to pick the mystery number. What will the mystery number be?
I mean, if I don't pick 69, I'd disappoint a lot of people. So that would be the mystery number.
I saw that one coming. So we are shooting for 69, and I'm up 4-3. I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want first at bat, or do you want home bat?
Home field advantage is about 10% out of the park. I'll take my home field advantage.
Okay, so there you go. So again, right now in the series, I am up 4-3, and Kidneys is he's going to see if he can tie that up. So let me go to my screen. Here I thought Kidneys was going to go, you know what, you're older. I respect my elders. You can have home field, but no.
No, I got to win.
The Zoomer said, I want to win. So there's your screen. Let me go to mine. Okay. There we go. All right. All of you out there, keep track here. Kidneys, keep track. First pack, top of the first inning. What do we got? We've got... Look at that top middle card, Kidneys.
It is a 69. I
It
can't
is
read
a
that.
69.
Very nice.
Top of
Very
the
nice.
first inning, the Hound comes out swinging and scores 1 run. All right. Bottom of the first.
Let's see it. Ooh, nothing yet.
All right. Well, today on the mound, I've got Dave Steve going. So you have an opportunity because he's not the best pitcher in modern settings. And just for you, Kidneys, I'm going to put on a new cap.
New cap.
We got the dude right now.
Ooh.
Okay, let's go to the top of the second inning. And my turn here. 1-0 after 1.
Oh, man.
Look at that bottom right corner.
I know. It was a very nice day so far.
So, another run for the Hound as we go to the bottom of the second.
One off.
All right. Looking good. 2-0, but still early. All it's going to take is one of those premium cards. Next up, top of the third, and we have a gold.
Ooh.
How many points is a gold again? I believe a gold is 2 points.
2 points.
Points for a gold. All right, let's flip that gold over.
A braid.
Okay. Bottom of 3. Where's that diamond card? Oh,
not here again.
Nothing. Maybe you should have picked 59, Kidneys. Maybe 59. All right, let's go to top of the fourth. Dave Steve still pitching a shutout, and we have another gold. So I've probably reached the snail man factor of what I should be hitting in 9 packs. I think he's over it. Yeah. So there is a gold. That makes it 6-0. Lots of time left as we go to the bottom of 4.
Nope. Almost a golf pack.
Nothing yet. Almost a golf pack. Yeah. Golf doesn't get you anything. All right. Let's go to the 5th inning. 6-0. And my first scoreless inning there. Nothing for lap. Okay. Bottom of 5.
No.
And you're getting some silvers, but just not getting the cards that count. All right. After 5, 6-0. Okay. Here we go. Well, now you must have a good reliever in because I'm getting zeros. We go to the bottom of 6.
Nah, so many silvers. So many.
But that's like 100 points each that you can sell. So really, Kidneys, you are winning. You may not be winning, but you're winning.
You know, a little secret. I love playing these. I don't care about the points anymore.
You're too competitive. All right, top of 7. That's closer to a golf pack. All right, nothing for lap. So all you need is a diamond will move you within 1. A perfect or LE will move you ahead. We go to the bottom of 7.
No.
Dave Steve. We don't want to mention the taboo word that Dave Steve had unfortune with over his career, but we head to the 8th. 6-0. A lot of zeros on the board lately. There is close to a golf pack. Nothing for lap in the 8th. So we go to bottom of 8. This tends to be your inning. This tends to be where you have some success.
It wasn't.
Not today. All right. Well, here we go. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It is 6-0. Whew. 6-0. All right. And lap does not get anything there. 0 for lap there. So that's going to move us to the bottom of 9. And LE, a perfect wins it for you. 3 gold ties it. What do you got? Middle of the order coming up. And Dave Steeb with the perfect game shutout, no-hitter, finally in his career.
That's crazy. You made me come back on here for this? This is what I come back for? I was like, I was going to even the score up and everything, and I come back to not 1 point.
There's a purpose for this, because now you're just going to want to come back even more now to get revenge, right? Okay, before we let you go, Kidneys, because I do want to go over one other thing here. Let me bring it up and go back to here. And before we let you go, I'm going to do the countdown for the second draw that we have going on. So, exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. You've got 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and closed. 90 entries on this one. Good luck for 10 standard packs. The winner is another Canadian. I see a theme going on here. Fofi 84 with the win. And Fofi, I will get your username. I think you've won before, but I can track you down fairly easy at some point, or put it in the chat or whisper me. It's best if you either DM me or whisper me, because I'm not really looking at the chat right now. So congratulations to Fofi. All right, we will do another giveaway in just a little bit. All right, before I let you go, Kidneys, let me go back to here. Kidneys and I still chat once in a while, not as often because we're not preparing as much for the Hawk Report. But remember, Kidneys, when I reached out to you a couple of days ago to ask you and remind you to come on and set your alarm and all that. I asked you what you thought of the LE card that just came out. I think it was the Conseco. And you said, hey, you missed the Eddie Matthews. And I said, what? Eddie was today? Because I didn't know that the Eddie Matthews came out. And you said, yeah, he's pretty good. You know, he should blow Gunner out of the water. And, you know, Chipper's not even close. And so I said, oh, man, I got to go open 10 packs. And you were like, yeah, okay. Okay, pretty funny. So this happened on pack number 2. Pack 2 of the 10 that I was opening up. I sent this to Kidneys and I said, pack 2 of 10. And I said, if this is Matthews, you got to go live in 5. And he didn't commit one way or the other. He just said, LOL. And then I said, okay, well, any guesses? Because I hadn't flipped it over yet. And so he said, I think it's the live Edwin. So I said, well, you got to tune in one day, which is Tuesday. Well, I did open that pack and flip over the card. And here again is our conversation that we have. Are you still going with the Edwin Diaz?
Yeah, I'm going to stick on it.
You're going to stick with the Edwin Diaz? Well, how about this? How about we show this?
Oh. That's crazy.
There you go. Yes, I can't believe it. But thank you, Kidneys, for being home that day when I DM'd you, because that card ended up being this card right here. And it's not Photoshop. You can see all the different same players there. You know, Patino smiling right next to it. And it is number 1 of 25. And wow. You don't know how hard it was not telling you right off the bat. And
that's awesome.
You are just lucky that when I said, if it's Matthews, you got to go live, you're lucky you didn't say, oh, yeah, sure, because I would have held you to that. You would have been on live. You would have had to come out of retirement.
You didn't say what I would have to go live with.
Well, that is true. Well, any closing comments here for the community? I know they can still reach out to you on Discord. I know you have some other works, you know, coming out with sheets and things. Anything you want to leave off with?
Yeah, for some reason, chat and laptop and all the out of the park people out there, Why did it take me till my retirement to solve defense? I solved it. So the next spreadsheet's no more guesswork. It just works. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that doesn't really help me anymore, but it does help some of you guys. So if you're interested, again, sometime in the next 2 weeks, I said Golden League at first. Somebody has done me the favor of collecting more silver data than I think I even have for Diamond Leagues, which is crazy. So there'll probably be a silver spreadsheet as well, I think, just for the sake.
All right. Excellent. Good. So more good work coming out from Kidnies. Again, I thank you so much. I consider you a friend and like an OOTP son. You've helped me along the way, and you're still one of the first people I go to when I need some OOTP advice. So thank you, Kidnies. I'm sure we'll chat again at some point, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Before we take our next break and go on to our next guest and go on to our next break, it is giveaway time. This time, something a little bit different. I will start it up in just a little bit here, but this time the winner, and I thank OOTP for allowing me to do these giveaways, you will have the choice of either 15 standard packs, 1 game license for Steam or for PC or Mac, or 1 month free of OOTP Plus. And if you already subscribe to OOTP Plus, it will just go on your existing account already. It will be tacked on. So again, a choice of one of those 4 things, exclamation enter, exclamation ticket, gets you into the contest. Feel free, if you're an affiliate, Kidnies, all my guests, feel free to join in and have a chance at one of those awesome prizes. Be back in a minute and a half, guys, and guest number 3 is waiting in the wings.
Hey, Lap, you're muted. That seemed like an excellent introduction, but we heard none of it.
Welcome back to the stream. It's all about engagement, all about the posts and the chat, and it wouldn't be a laptop stream without some muting going on at some point. So it was all left to your interpretation, and I think you interpreted it fairly well. And you should have GT Sundown in the background or EVC in the background.
I did try that. I was doing this. I was grabbing my ears. I wasn't getting your attention.
All right. So again, lots of great online community leagues. We have the EMLB. We have the PBE Sim League. We have the NERSHA Banco Online League. I've been in online leagues before for many years, stepped away from it, and created a community player in EMLB with the commish, Glenn the Hound Streamer, who went first overall and is playing in Bakersfield as part of the Train Robbers with a cool hat and other user-created players, Gavin Cross, 21 years old, and Captain Clutch Justin Barber, 28 years old. So here we go. We're here with the manager, GT Sundown. How many years have you been managing the Montreal Expos?
Well, this is their expansion season in EMLB, so this was our first amateur draft. We did the expansion draft this past off season. I've only been with EMLB for basically 2 full seasons. I started off in Minnesota for a year, and then when Montreal opened up, I was able to convince Commish to let me switch over. So I moved over to Montreal. We did the expansion draft in the off season, and then this is our first season, and we did our first amateur draft where I selected Glenn Streamer first overall.
So this was your very first draft pick as manager of the Montreal Expos?
Yes, the first amateur draft pick. Yep.
Wow. Feel very, very honored. So I thought what we do is a little interview. I'm the player. We got the manager there. I've just come over from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, made my way to Bakersfield, and am sitting down and meeting with GT Sundown. And he's got a few questions for me. Go ahead.
All right. So heading into the draft, I had heard some rumors out of your camp. You were curious whether or not you would even go in the first round. So I guess I was curious what your expectations were heading into the draft, and how big of a surprise it was to hear your name called at 1 overall.
Well, I have to tell you, manager, that just going anywhere in the draft is an honor, and I had no expectations of where I was going to go. Hardworking from a family farming community where I'm up at 6 and in bed at midnight, and just in the fields and walking through the cow dung, and work hard to get where I'm at, and going anywhere. And I was expecting maybe late first round, early second round, and to hear my name called number 1 overall was a shock. My father had to put down his pitchfork. He was out in the fields. He came running in and said, "Son, I've just heard you were drafted number 1 overall, but I need you out in the field." So yeah, that was the reaction.
Awesome. On that same line of thinking, I know you're obviously a native Canadian. You did play some college ball down in the States, but I was wondering how special it was and how excited you were when you found out that the big league club that picked you was from Canada in Montreal.
Oh, I think my father was more excited than I was. I would be happy to play anywhere in the big leagues, but my father, a longtime Expo fan, loved Tim Raines and Andre Dawson, and he went into some depression when Steve Rogers gave up that home run to a Dodger who shall be nameless after a day of the week. But yeah, it took him a while to recover from that. And of course, then we had that lockout strike situation in the 90s where the Expos were, projected to make the World Series. So he was ecstatic. And because he was ecstatic, it made me a lot happier. So yes, going to Toronto or Montreal was a dream. And I thank you, coach, manager, for making that come true.
Awesome. So as you were developing and coming up and maybe first starting to realize that you might have a future as a professional ball player, I was curious as to what you kind of thought your biggest strengths were that were going to help drive you to that ultimate goal of being a professional ball player.
Well, I really believe in leadership. I like to be a leader on the team, and I know I'm young right now, only 21 years old, but I still like to take that leadership role and help the younger players out that make their way up to the club, and even some of the older players. I'm not afraid to go in and give them some advice on the game and work ethic. Just work tirelessly, work hour after hour after hour, trying to be the best player I can be. I would say I'm a pretty balanced player. I've got some home run power. I'm kind of splitty. I've admitted it. I'm kind of splitty, but I think I got good defense, good enough to play that shortstop, second base position. So yeah, I like the whole well-roundedness aspect of my game.
All right. And speaking of your overall skills, so based on our evaluation of you, we started off with a pretty aggressive opening assignment. We sent you to the High A club in Bakersfield, California, the Bakersfield Train Robbers, and you just got there. Hopefully there's not too much pressure on you. You're going through a bit of a rough start. So I was just curious as to maybe how you're handling that sort of opening, starting up jitters and that maybe a little bit of adversity as you get started with your professional career.
Well, I'm a Canadian, and I grew up in Canada on the farm with a lot of grasshoppers and sunshine on the flat fields of Saskatchewan. So going down to a populated area, like all these people, first in Washington where I played college ball, and then going down to Bakersfield, it's a culture shock. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't find any poutine there. There was no Tim Hortons around. Very, very tough to understand the American y'all dialect. So it is going to take a little time to adjust, but give me some time, and I think that you'll be impressed with my numbers, and I think you'll see my ratings even be boosted up a bit in the future. So I'll hope to make the big league, but if it's not for a season or 2 or 3, I'm fine with that. I'm enjoying the California lifestyle and adjusting to it.
All right. Sounds good. I wanted to close out and sort of ask you if there's any aspiring future EMLB draft picks in the stream today. If you had any sort of words of wisdom or advice for them to sort of get started on their path to professional baseball in EMLB.
Well, I don't know the community that well. I'm just Attica probably should have did everything he could to trade up. I think I need to really kind of impress that me going number one. Like he did interview me. I was interviewed by Attica and by a few other GMs as well, and didn't drop down that far, but apparently I was on his list. And all I would say is any community players out there, go to the commission's streams. Very fun, very engaging, and create a player. It's very easy to do. You can use channel points to create players. You can gift subs to boost your players' ratings. Lots of different things that you can do on the commission's stream. So that's my advice to the people watching and to the other managers out there. I know you guys did a lot of scouting, a lot of research. I know you, GT, probably spent hours researching for the draft, and I hope that my player doesn't disappoint.
We're very excited to have you on the squad. I will definitely tell you that the interaction leading up to the draft and having sort of evidence that you're going to be an involved creative player was big for the GMs, I think, to see that. So definitely encourage other creative players to have that. Just a little bit of Discord interaction will go a long way, I think, in the draft.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day. I got to get back to batting practice because my coach down here, he never lets up. He just on the field, improving my skills. So thank you, GT Sundown, for joining the 100th episode celebration today, and we'll chat later.
All right. Thanks for having me. Hope to see you in Montreal soon.
Thank you. All right. Thanks to GT. Just something a little bit different, as I am kind of getting more involved into the online community created players again, and fun to first time I've met GT, in person, chatted with him on the Discord a little bit, but yeah, it's cool to be drafted by someone so passionate about the Montreal Expos. All right, let's go and let's remove that, and we need to do our draw here and find out who our next winner is. So 10-second countdown, exclamation ticket, exclamation enter to get your choice of either 1 month of PT Plus, 15 packs, or a game license if you want to create more teams or want to share it with someone. Give it to your father, give it to your son, or for Steam or for PC. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giveaway is closed. And our winner is Mr. Ree 416. Congratulations, Mr. Ree. Been a while since I saw that name on the winner's board. So if you can whisper me, Mr. Ree, what your choice is, 15 packs or 1 month of PT Plus or a game license. And then if you do pick the packs or the PT Plus, make sure I get your PT username. So congratulations to Mr. Ree for winning that contest. So I'm going to close that one down. And we will do another one in just a little bit. And by just a little bit, I mean we are going to do one right now. Same prizes, exact same prizes. We're going to let it run a little bit. So exclamation ticket, exclamation enter for your choice of the PT Plus, the game license, or the 15 packs. All right, we got our next break coming up. Our next guest is ready in the green room. Be back in a minute and a half to bring this person back on. You may know this person, quite familiar in the community. Okay, we are back with our next segment. Again, thank you so much to those of you that have followed, those that followed today, those that have subscribed, those that tune in every once in a while. And even if you're lurking, if you're a lurker and, leave a comment today, make today the day that you leave a comment just saying, hi, Lap, or, thanks for what you do, or congratulations. I don't care. Just comment if you're a lurker, just so we know, you're around and part of the community. The contest still going on, !enter, !ticket. If you want to have a chance, we'll do that draw in a few minutes. But my next guest is no stranger to the community. It is Mr. EVC in NYC. Welcome in.
Hey, Laptop. Congratulations on 100 episodes and 1,000 followers. You've got more followers than I do, so congratulations, my friend. It's not a contest.
It is not a contest. And, some of these new affiliates are really moving up there, too. I know Dr. D is, in the mid 900s, I think. And we got Attica, we've got Naspace, we've got Ezra, pushing 200. So it's just a testament to the community that, supports all of these online affiliates. So I know you thank them. I thank them. Yeah.
And I just brought some New York sounds for you. Got some horns, got some sirens. I want to make sure you just feel like you're at home, like you're living in New York a little bit. And I did not put myself on mute, although I almost thought about just having my chair stream a little bit, because I did do that. I did a little stream yesterday morning, had my chair going early on, because as soon as I started the stream, I got a delivery. So it's it's always good.
I heard about your, live stream dinner time. And so I thought, how can I top that? How can I be as good as EVC and just make something like that happen? So, if I mute the whole segment, at least I should.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, EVC. EVC has been on the stream a few times over the last 100 episodes. We had a show where we had kind of a Canada-US during the World Baseball Championship.
Rick Monday again struck in that game. Just bringing that Expos hat, just so much joy. We're here for the fun. We're here for the fun. There you go.
Okay. Yes.
They told me I was supposed to wear props. I wore my quasi-American flag shirt for Memorial Day yesterday, so I'm now back into EVC.
Others were saying that all the guests should have had a tie, so I think you should have.
No, this is how I dress up now. It's Hawaiian shirts. So.
Well, EVC has great member, great affiliate, great friend, and we chat back and forth. And I didn't get into theme teams until late in the game. I think maybe halfway through last season. And the theme team I came up with for OOTP 23 was Lights, Camera, Action. For those that didn't play 23, it was basically, and EVC teases me all the time about this, is basically a team of players that acted in a movie, a TV show, and I use that word acted loosely. They appeared in a TV show, movie, maybe in vaudeville, on stage in silent films, and even if they played themselves. And so
you can't play yourself. Everyone says, don't play yourself. I hear that all the time. Don't play yourself.
Yeah, we're not touching that one, but it's like the Satchel Paige coming as an assistant to the assistant to the assistant pitching coach. It's like the Aaron Judge song.
He was hired as a pitching coach. Aaron Judge has got the song title in a song that's got thousands of Logic songs. I mean, come on, it's your theme. Have fun with it. That's the whole idea.
Absolutely. Have fun. And, these guys had to read and memorize a script, even if they were playing themselves. So for some of them, that might have been, a challenge trying to memorize lines. So we had Giancarlo Stanton, who was in Ballers. We had Satchel Paige, the kid from Cleveland, Frank Baker. So over the course of, the version of the game, Hank Aaron, who was in the movie Summer Catch, Clayton Kershaw on the TV show New Girl. We had the Simpsons episode, of course, that iconic Simpsons episode where we had Don Mattingly and others. Mariano Rivera was the voice in a cartoon, and Harold Trainer, Pie Trainer, was actually a coach for the Pirates in a movie, and even Brandon Webb was in a horror movie called Weenie Roast Massacre.
It's when you have like wasn't Koufax in a Mr. Ed episode or something like that? I think there was somebody in the
Yes,
Mr. Ed
yes.
episode.
Yeah.
And we had Vita Blue was one of those blaxploitation movies.
Tony Fernandez was a drug dealer.
Yeah, got good billing. So I think listen, this is the fun of doing these theme teams. Like I've had so much fun with my music one. We pulled yesterday on stream. We pulled the new 100 overall Burt Blyleven, and we did find some very esoteric songs of Burt Blyleven. So it's just a lot of kind of fun to kind of go through and make your theme and again have fun with it, which is the whole idea.
Yeah. And the cool thing about theme teams is you're not going to use every card. You can't use every card, but sometimes a certain card like a Blyleven, like a Sam Crawford did for me, you sell that card off and it can fund a huge portion. When I pulled Sam Crawford on my theme team early, I sold him for $650,000 at that time, and it allowed me to buy all these other cards that you see on stream.
Just talked about he got Addy Joss early on and created the entire Casey Barnstormers team he's doing, which is all new league cards. Chasten Bruin just said he's going to make a new theme team called the Loopholes, where they each have a justifiable excuse for why they're on his team, which may be a little bit too much, but it's a lot of fun.
And when you pull a card like that funds your entire team with a multitude of other good cards, it's going to keep you up in those higher levels. So my lights, camera, action. Once I got to Diamond, I never left. I stayed in Diamond and made the playoffs a few times. I only ended up with one championship. Mr. Audits, Reed Sox was always a thorn in the side. Your theme teams were a thorn in the side. Heath's with his Day Trippers, thorn in the side. There's some really good competitive theme teams out there. So I never won the Diamond League, but I did make the playoffs 4 times, and I think that's quite the achievement.
We've only had one theme team win Diamond, and that was with the Pirates theme team for Jossman, who got that. And so it's pretty, it's not like I started off doing my streams like a year ago saying, if you're in Diamond, you probably have too broad a theme, but I think I was proved wrong by the community, which I kind of love. And I think Gristle was he's going to make a team called the Rejects, a list of players that I think shouldn't be on other people's theme teams. So I think that's actually kind of fun.
And I do have to correct Heath's team. The Doc Ellis Day Trippers were not his theme team. They were his main team, but they were a thorn in the side to my main team, the Rocky Mountain Gladiators. So Heath has put together
good Doc Ellis song, by the way. So I'm very excited.
Yes, a very good manager who's constructed some really good teams. And watch out when you come across Heath in your leagues. So this year, transitioning over to 24, I didn't want to bring in the lights, camera, action because it would basically be a lot of the same players. I wanted to do something different, something fun. So I went with the Dave Steeb Super 7 All-Stars, which, again, all players that played with Dave Steeb in an all-star game. Not his opposition. They had to be on the AL all-star roster. So that includes all these cards here that are in the game. That's pretty much as far as I can go until more cards came out. But fortunately, it was good enough, as we saw in your stream on Monday morning, to win the Stone League. So 7-game series, Dave Steeb on the mound, and we were able to win that series.
Barely.
So very,
Barely,
yes.
Dave Steeb
barely.
did not do you any favors in that game.
Well, and if anyone watched my stream yesterday, I opened up the game because I forgot to change my pitcher rotation back. And currently in Iron, I'm running a 1-man rotation with Dave Steeb. Because that's how I ended off with a 1-man rotation. And I don't know if Wildcat, because Wildcat is in the same division as I am. Wildcat, I don't know what my record is if you have the game open right now, but it was like 13-2 yesterday with a 1-man rotation. So
I'm telling you, That's actually impressive that it took that, because I thought it wouldn't take less than, I guess you can leave it empty. Yeah. The AI knew what to do for you.
It doesn't allow you to program it that way, but it says doesn't meet requirements or whatever, but I just exit out, and when I go back in, it still shows a one-man rotation. So until you actually change it, I think it keeps it to its last save.
So it would be great. It would be really cool if you were 13-2 and Steve actually started every game.
Yeah, he had played 3 games, and his ERA was like 0.52. So he was 3-0 with a 0.52 ERA. So we're keeping him there. He's a stud. He's Dave Steep. All right. So on your stream yesterday, on my stream, I teased that I need another theme team because I can't really do much with Dave Steeves now. So I need something else to, because I have no time in the world to do something with. So today we are announcing the new theme team for Laptop Hound that you will come across. No, it's not the Crazy Canucks. I am a crazy Canuck, spending all this time in theme teams and OOTP and getting streams ready. So yeah, sometimes you got to be crazy to do what you do. So here's some hints. And EVC, I know you're traveling starting on Friday. You're going to be gone for a month. So part of this is an homage to you and your big trip. And part of it's my enjoyment as well, because it also is going to tie in to one of my favorite old time singers. You might have heard of him, Johnny Cash. So what do we have in common with travel and Johnny Cash? Any guesses?
Oh man, I should know more Johnny Cash songs, but I do not know more Johnny Cash songs.
Okay.
But a traveling man. I mean, I think that's a thing. I think to me, this is one of the themes I always wanted to do. I used to call them the satchels, players who played for more than like 8 teams or something like that. And it's an interesting list of players to kind of play with, because Satchel played for so many teams. But that's where I was thinking. Congratulations, Stashilla, on the Paul O'Neill you just pulled.
Hey, yes, congratulations, Paul O'Neill. Excellent, good. Glad we're providing you with not only silent film, but with some good polls too. So the name of the team, the new theme team, that it may not start next week. I'll keep you updated but we're repurposing Lights, Camera, Action. We're using that same account, and we're going to start with the Johnny Cash luggage tags. That is going to be the name of our theme team. And this revolves around the Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere. You may have heard of it. And in that song, he mentions many places that he has been. So the rules for the Johnny Cash luggage tags is that for every city or team name in the song, I get to have one player from that city, either born in the city or played in that city. Could be minor ball. Again, going to involve a lot of research, but the Oracle will help me out. Also, I can only use players that played during his lifetime, which was 1932 to 2003. So that rules out Mike Trout and Ohtani and anyone from the dead ball era. Not going to get to use them. It does include Babe. Babe was still playing, barely, at that time. And again, players had to be either born in or played in that location. So Babe Ruth, I could either use as my Boston connection, or I could use as my Baltimore connection. So I do have some choices. There is the logo that, nice. If you come across it, you will come across this logo here in Theme Team, the Johnny Cash luggage tags. And when we look at the song for I've Been Everywhere, lots of possibilities. I think Johnny Cash names off close to 100 different places. So I've yellowed the places that have major league teams. So Chicago has 2 teams, so I get 2 players because 2 teams: Toronto, Tampa, Baltimore, Minnesota, Boston, Washington, and Houston. The challenge will be finding players or connections to these other cities here. So again, Kingston, Dayton, Charleston. But that's the fun of this, right? Is to do some research and to come across the different players. So that is what the theme team will be, the Johnny Cash luggage tags.
See, this is why I love theme teams, the creativity of stuff like this, finding something you're passionate about, like you like this song. And so from that, all the different things that gives you, it's just a really interesting construct. So I'm looking for Panamanian players now. I'm trying to figure out guys born in Panama. Who's going to be your Panamanian? Because that's the only foreign country, I think, in the song. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, we've got a couple Canadian cities in there as well, so it depends what you include as foreign, I guess. But
I'm sorry, not North America. I'm bad.
You're not the 51st state there, EVC.
Well, I just figured you figured out a way to get Canadians in there anyway. So,
all right. So before we continue on and kind of finish off with EVC here, quick little contest ending, and we'll draw the winner for that. So we've got Tesuiji, that's one. We've got Mystery, that's one. We've got Fofi, that's one. 10 seconds before this one ends. Your choice of 15 packs, a game license, or 1 month of Perfect Team Plus. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giveaway is closed. All right, 105 entries, so you got a little less than 1%. And the winner is
Sean. Congratulations.
Sean Soul 10. Sean Soul, who yesterday I noticed was a Call Your Shot winner on Rich's stream. So Sean Soul, you've had a great 24 hours here with OOTP. Again, Sean, if you can, don't put it in the chat, either to whisper me or send me a Discord DM, what you would prefer, the 15 packs, the game code, or 1 month of Perfect Team Plus. So congratulations, Sean, from the wonderful state of Colorado. All right, we are going to set up the next one because we're just going to keep this flowing here.
Craziness.
Once again, same prizes. You get to pick one of the four. And it is underway. So we'll leave that one run for a few minutes.
I want my chance.
Yeah. Is EVC allowed to win? I don't know. Yeah. Of course he's allowed to win.
I have not won any giveaways this year, so.
Oh, really? Oh, I think I won one on Nersha Benko, and I think I did a Call Your Shot with a Bob on Tesuiji's in version 23. But yeah, it's good that they go to the community. A lot of times I won't enter because I don't want to hear rigged.
I'm a glutton. I'm not shy.
All right. So just before we let you go, I've already got another guest waiting in the wings, but I'm just waiting for one more here. Let me go back to my theme team. So which theme teams, because I've lost track, what are the names, very quickly, the names and inspiration between the theme teams you're currently running?
Well, I've got my Dodgers theme team. So any players play for the Dodgers at least 2 years because I've got a long history of being a Dodgers fan. Since my grandmother introduced me to baseball way back in the day. I've got my Let the Music Play ball. All players have to be in a song title or mentioned in the lyrics, either by nickname or their name. And that's been a lot of fun. Actually, it's been a lot of fun finding different songs and having the community kind of give me thumbs up or thumbs down on choosing some of those. Then we've got the Rickies. Again, Ricky was such a big thing. It's not the Rickies. It's Ricky wants to play baseball. And it's all players that are teammates of Ricky, but not including their all-star games, although I'm running out of people. And there you go. The David Lee Roth song, Panama. I should use him. No, wait, I'm confused. Anyway, for Panama, for your luggage tags. And then the fourth team, which it's basically called, now I'm forgetting. You know, you have so many theme teams, you can't remember them. It's kind of like, my franchise was gone. Exactly. I usually play a little snippet of My City Was Gone by the Pretenders, and that's basically any franchise is not one of the existing 30 Major League franchises, which has been a lot of fun, actually going through and learning about a lot of those historical teams that I didn't really know where they came from, where they went. So it's been kind of a fun way of getting some baseball history, which is what I love OOT about, learning about these players and franchises, etc.
So if you're new to the stream and you want to get involved in this and you've got a cool theme, yeah, go contact EVC, go to his Discord. Later on when EVC leaves, he can post his Discord in here and you guys can check it out. And just when you think there's no more possibilities come up. So before we let you go, again, there are so many place names in this song. The Johnny Cash luggage tags, again, for those of you just coming in, that is my new theme team. And I get to pick one player that has either played in or was born in one of these cities mentioned in the song, I've Been Everywhere. You know what would be fun? EVC? Now, I know EVC messaged me and he said, please don't ask me to do this. Please don't ask me to do this. But EVC, how often do you celebrate 100 episodes? Once.
Okay, I'll get in the hot tub. Fine.
Okay, well, that's the After Hour show with Ezra Denny. All right. Well, just for fun, just as we leave you here, I mean, it's great to have lyrics, right? It's really good to have lyrics, but it's not the same. It's not a cappella. It's not a barbershop quartet. We need the music. And do you play guitar?
I do not play guitar, no.
I don't play guitar. I wonder who in their community plays guitar. I wonder who in the community plays the guitar. Oh, look who's just popped in. How you doing, Mr. Grisham?
I'm doing great. Any opportunity I have to pick up my guitar and play, I will take very gladly.
All right. Well, we
God.
have not been through dress rehearsal. We have not jammed together before. We have not been in a garage somewhere, doing anything. We are doing this live, one shot, and Mr. Grisham, when I reached out to him and asked him to come on, he was more than willing to come on. And I said, do you happen to play I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash? And he said, oh, yeah, I won't sing it, but I can play it. And I said, don't worry, I've got the vocals covered. So feel free to play your guitar, whatever appropriate moment. I'm going to sing the first part. EVC is going to do the chorus. I'm going to do the last part, and then we're going to let Rich play a little bit just with the guitar because we're butchering the first part already. we don't want to ruin the whole song. Okay, here we go. And I've changed the lyrics a little bit for the first part, so you have to listen carefully.
All right.
I was toting my laptop along the dusty Winnemucca Road when along came a semi with a high-end canvas cover load. If you're gonna go to Winnemucca, Mac, with me you can ride. So I climbed into the cab and I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a theme team that I cannot beat. And I said, listen, I've scoured every card on the prestigious Your Kidney sheet. EVC runs a tight ship in the big Apple, New York, but I'll give it a shot to ultimately pop that champagne cork. EVC?
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Crossed the desert, man. I've ridden out there, man. Traveled out the chair, man. I've been
to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Cockapillo, Takarillo, and Perdilla. I'm a killer. All right.
It's those seventh and those diminished sevenths that'll get you every time.
Yeah, that the lyrics, those last place names there is like, oh, I'm gonna butcher those. But hey, it's the 100th episode. I get to mess up as much as I want. We've already seen me go on mute for like 3 minutes, so we're good. We're good. Thank you so much, EVC, for joining in today and talking about my theme teams, your theme teams, and playing along at the end. I'm sure I'll hear about it on Discord very soon.
I said, don't make me do a song duo. You know, he said, I got something scary for you. And I'm like, just don't make me do a song duo. So there you did. And I'm very proud that we got through it. And congratulations to you on your 100th episode. Thank you for playing some PT23. You actually had me go back and open some packs during your stream, and I got a Jobs Gibson on my main, and I got a Warren Spawn on my manager's team. So, like, again, you've been an inspiration to so many people, Laptop Hound. And again, if you're in the community, if you're just joining, Laptop Hound is the man. He's definitely going to help you out, figure out different ways of getting your team going. Definitely enjoy his streams. Thank you so much, man, for being what I like to affectionately call you, the dead mother of the streamers. And appreciate it, my man. Thanks again, and congratulations on 100. Looking forward to the next 100, and hopefully I'm not singing at that one.
Josh Gibson, Negro League card?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, on my main team, on my PT23, yeah. So
you got the Satchel Paige teammate there now.
But different
right.
From the managers. No, the managers got Warren Spawn today from that one. So you did very nicely for me. Again, the inspiration.
Oh, yeah, the money is flowing. Okay, thanks, EVC. We'll chat later. And Rich, Mr. Grisham, thank you for joining in today and coming on and being part of the 100th stream. What a whirlwind the last few months have been. And I want to thank you personally again. I know you're the man behind the scenes and helping with the affiliates and really pushing the affiliate program and pushing the drops that we're allowed to give. And there's so much that this man does behind the scenes that I don't think we all realize. And it's an honor, my friend, to have you on the stream today to celebrate this moment. 100 episodes, 1,000 followers, and the best, as you always say, as I always say, the best online gaming community, bar none.
Well, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you offering the invitation. I jumped at the chance, and congratulations! 100 episodes, 1,000 followers. It's not easy. Streaming is a challenge. It's a physical challenge. It's a mental challenge. It's a scheduling challenge, right? It's a lot of things, and people like you are absolutely one of the reasons that we do have the best community in video games, because every single day people know that they can go somewhere and watch somebody who's having fun or who's struggling or who doesn't know what to do or who is doing something that they didn't even know they could do. And so I thank you very much for doing what you do, because it's a huge part of the success of the entire organization.
All right. Well, we're going to ask you a couple questions, but we have a quick break we have to do here. So we will be back in 1 minute and 30 seconds, guys. And then we're going to ask Rich a little bit about his music influences, his music career, and a little bit about OOTP as well. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in a minute and a half. All right, we are back, and we're going to close off this giveaway that's been going on for the last 15 minutes here. So you got 10 seconds to get in, exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. And once again, thank you so much to our friends at OOTP and to Mr. Grisham and everyone behind the scenes for allowing the giveaways during this 100th episode. 15 packs or 1 game license or 1 month of PT Plus. That can be added on to your existing subscription if you already get it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The giveaway is closed. We have exactly 100 entries. 100 people entered in, and the winner is Saintly Sam. First time I've seen that name, Saintly Sam. Congratulations. If you could whisper me on Twitch, you can do that just by clicking on my name in the chat there. and send me your request. Do you want the 15 packs? Do you want the game code that you could use for a second set of teams, or you can gift it to someone, or you can have the PT Plus for 1 month? Let me know in a whisper, please. Please don't put it in the chat because I'll probably miss it with all the comments going on there. And congratulations to all our winners so far. But we are not done yet. Yes, we have another one running right now. Same rules, same prizes. You will get your choice of one of those three things after I finish chatting with Rich. And then we have one more special guest coming up. All right, Mr. Grisham, I know most of the community knows a lot about your. Oh, before I get to that, I don't get speechless often, but having you here and then going and seeing that our community EVC Chess Safari has gifted out all these subs. Whew.
It's awesome. Fantastic.
It is, it is. And time in and time out, the community just comes through. And yeah, like I said, I'm speechless. I'm going to not try and focus on that because I want to get through some questions to you. But thank you, Chess. Thank you, EVC. Thanks for the hype train going, whatever a hype train is. I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about music today.
Let's do it.
Maybe give a little background to the community that may not know you that much in terms of your musical background.
Well, I sometimes you just sort of have things that you love from the beginning. Ever since I can remember anything, I loved music. When I was a little kid, I remember just moments in times where I would hear something and I would just be like, oh, what is that? Like, I remember the very first time I ever heard Van Halen. I remember the very first time I ever heard REM. I remember the very first time I heard the Rolling Stones. I remember the very first time I heard the Beatles, and for whatever reason, right? Like I can't hang a picture straight on a wall, right? I can't repair a car. There's a lot of things in the world I can't do, but for whatever reason, one thing I can do is listen to music and feel music and play music. And I play the guitar, I play piano, I play drums. It's one of those weird things. Music has always just been fundamentally a part of my brain, when I was young, I was just, it was all about rock and roll. As I've gotten older, I've certainly embraced listening to and enjoying every kind of music out there. And I always tell my son, who's a teenager, I'm like, you don't understand what it was like, right? When I was a little kid, I would have to save up for 6 or 7 or 8 months to buy an album. And if that album wasn't amazing, it was devastating, right? Because, you had to listen to what was ever on the radio or whatever your meager little musical collection was. And now you can just, with the press of a button, listen to any song by any artist, and then not only listen to any song by any artist ever, but you can look at the lyrics and you can see what album it was on or when it came out, and you can instantly watch the video of it. So it's a great time to be a music fan now, especially if you have a certain age that sort of recognizes how different it is now versus how it was in the 80s and the 90s when it came to being able to throw yourself into something that you're so passionate about. It's been quite an interesting journey for music fans like myself.
Well, yeah, and that's cool. And I mean, we're probably similar in terms of age and access to certain types of music in the past. And for me, it was always, I'd have one of those little tape recorders where you'd have to push play and record, and I'd have Casey Kasem's Top 40 Countdown, and
same, literally the same.
And just playing those, like recording those songs, and on the cassette, and you'd have little bits of commercials in there. Your cassette would unwind, and you get the pencil in there.
You would say, "Casey, just stop talking, for God's sakes. Let me hear the song, man."
Our long distance dedication tonight is going to.
Oh yeah, just get to the Air Supply song already, okay? We get it.
Yeah, we all knew Michael Jackson was going to be number one for the
Yes.
8th week in a row. So
Exactly.
it was those golden gems that were like number 32.
Yes, absolutely.
good.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny.
What was other than the cassette and the radio,
Mhm.
was your family, did they have the LPs? Did they have the reel-to-reel tapes? What, the 8-track, or did they progress through all of those as the years went on?
So my parents, my mother in particular, is a big music fan, but I'm going to be very nice when I say this. We did not share the same taste in music whatsoever, like in any way, shape, or form, right? When she would put on her music, I would be crawling up the walls. Like it was just, conceptually, we were both big music fans, but practically speaking, neither of us would ever enjoy listening to the music of the other person, with a few exceptions. Neil Diamond probably being the one exception, where when she put on Neil Diamond, I could deal with it. But boy, some of the other stuff that she used to listen to was just, not my thing. But, again, it was for a brief point in my life, but at one point we had a car that had an 8-track player in it. So she would put in the 8-track and you would hear half of one song, then it would fade out. And then 7 seconds later, you would hear the rest of the song, which, already bothered me immensely, because, that's just not how it should be. But, at a very young age, and probably the first album I ever bought was Kiss Alive 2. And I don't know.
Oh, way, with the little tattoos in it. And
oh my gosh, yes. And, it had the 4 guys on the front, and then you open it up and you saw the stage with the fire and stuff like that. And like, so I really was a vinyl kid from the very beginning. And again, I could usually afford 2 or 3 albums a year, right? So for the first year or two, I was trying to basically collect Kiss albums. And then I got into very quickly sort of Van Halen, because again, the very first time I remember, I never forget it, just randomly on the radio in my house in upstate New York, I heard the song Dance the Night Away. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is really good. So I went and I bought Van Halen 2, which completely changed my life. And then shortly after that, my sister's boyfriend, I don't know why he did it, but thank God he did. He gave me 2 Queen albums on vinyl, A Night at the Opera and Live Killers, which again, completely changed my life. It changed my perception of what rock and roll could even be, and blew me away. And so I was vinyl for a long time. And then when CDs first came out, I basically dedicated my life to getting CDs of my favorite bands, because again, like what most people of this day and age don't understand, and it's not a complaint, it's just a fact, like before CDs, if you wanted to skip a song, you'd have to walk over to the record and you have to lift it off and you have to find the groove and put it in, or you'd have to fast forward on the cassette and you would never ever get it right. You'd either go a little too far or a little too short. And it was just, when CDs came out and you could press a button and immediately skip a track, it was like mind blowing, earth, or, heavens opening up, the whole thing. And so I dedicated myself to CDs. I still got a giant box of CDs in the basement that I probably need to let go. But, again, I probably spent 10 years just buying and collecting the CDs of all my favorite artists and such like that. And then, once sort of the digital transformation happened, I was kind of early on. I was in relatively early on the whole Apple Music concept, and now I'm just an Apple Music guy, right? Like, just when my son and I are in my pickup truck going back and forth to school or the gym, we just we play DJ and we just listen to all sorts of stuff, and it's a great time to be a music fan, because you can hear anything you want to whenever you want.
Yeah, similar stories. I mean, my mother, she listened to that very old country, the Johnny Horton and the, those kind of songs, country from the 50s and 60s. And she had her accordion and she'd be playing her accordion, and I'd be off in my room listening to Kiss. And
yeah, that's what we did.
Absolutely. Yeah, very similar. And as a big Van Halen fan, what did you think about did you have a difficult time when they transitioned from David Lee Roth to Sammy Hagar, or did you find that a natural fit?
I had no problem with it. There's moments that stick out. I remember the very first time I heard the 5150 album, I was just like, okay, here we go. It's you know, it's still Eddie. I mean, Eddie Van Halen to this day is my all-time favorite guitar player. And there's many guitar players that I love, but you know, Eddie changed the game. And once I heard, you know, I remember, and a lot of people don't realize or won't realize this, but this is before the internet. Like, you didn't know what was really going on, right? Like, you just heard rumors and innuendo, and there was Circus Magazine. That all Circus Magazine did was print the same articles every single week with the same pictures, just in slightly different places. Like, so you didn't know what was going on with any of your favorite bands ever. It's like, oh, I guess, you know, Dave is not in the band anymore. And then this cassette comes out of 5150, and I put it on and I listened to it. I was like, all right. You know, the very first song I heard from that was Why Can't This Be Love, which I think was their first single. And it was a different sounding song, but you heard Eddie, and I was just like, all right, here we go. And I, you know, I'm not gonna pretend that my favorite Van Halen songs are Sammy Hagar songs. There's some great songs from that era. You know, I'm still, it's not so much that I'm a David Lee Roth guy. It's just, I'm a Van Halen 1, 2, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down guy. Like, those albums just kill it. But it's not so much because of Dave. It's just Dave happens to be the singer on those albums. But I was fine with Sammy. And what's funny too, I was the Gary Sharon, the album I didn't like, but I saw them on that tour, and that tour was the first time that they started playing the old Dave songs again. I don't know if most people realize, but like, other than Jump and Panama, you know, the Hagar era Van Halen didn't play much of anything from the pre-Hagar era. And then all of a sudden, when I saw them with Gary Sharon and Eddie started playing Mean Street and Romeo Delight and Light Up the Sky. Again, I remember distinctly hugging one of my best friends at that concert. Like, I can't believe he's playing Mean Street. Oh my God, this is amazing. So I've been fine with every version of Van Halen, just because I just love them so much. You know, I didn't have that anger towards it. I just liked the fact that they were still making music, is what it came down to.
Yeah, it's like going back to my teenage and childhood. And all right, 3 more questions for you. Quick answers here. As we moved into the 90s with music, we saw a lot more alternative music. We saw rap come out. Yeah. Did you embrace, you know, new bands? I know you're a Foo Fighters fan. I was a Radiohead fan and Foo Fighters. Yeah. Or were you stuck in that, you know, 70s and 80s genre?
No, I actually moved very rapidly into the grunge era. You know, I was listening to, you know, Def Leppard and you know, Rat and you know, obviously Van Halen and all those you know, all those bands. And then when, you know, again, it was just one of those seminal times of your life when Nirvana broke through. You know, first when Smells Like Teen Spirit got big. And, you know, I was in college, and, you know, it was a real turning point. And then Pearl Jam's first album came out. The song Alive was one of those songs that when I heard it, I was just like, wow, this is something new and different and good. And Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, like Alice in Chains' first album and second album, I really embraced that. There's most of that music I really don't listen to anymore, with a few exceptions. But I fully got on board, you know, in the 90s. And then when you know, Cobain and Nirvana dissipated, I was really glad that Dave Grohl did what he did, because I've been a Foo Fighters fan since the beginning, even as music has continued to change and rock and roll has sort of, you know, lessened in its importance and its airplay. But yeah, I fully made the jump from 80s rock to 90s grunge, you know, without even thinking about it for a second.
Yeah, I remember, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, there was I forget what the name of the magazine, like CMJ Music or something. They'd have a little CD that they included with the magazine with all upcoming artists, and those are really cool, because once a month you'd get, you know, 25 free songs on this CD, and some of these bands would go on to great things. All right, two more questions. Again, exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. Couple more minutes to get in on this contest here if you're not entered already. I know you play music and you play at different venues. Is there a moment, a song that you remember playing live that you just were so proud of, that you just felt, I nailed it? Is there one of those moments?
Well, I mean, the Beatles tend to hit the most people. Most of the time when I play now, it's playing in very small places, and it's not a performance so much as it is. I'm just sort of not background, but people come to eat dinner at the restaurant that I play on Friday nights. They're not coming. Some of them come to hear the music, but not like to sit there and stare at me while I play. Right? They're having dinner, they're talking, they're having wine and enjoying themselves. But whenever I play Here Comes the Sun, right? As soon as I put that capo on and then I start playing that little melody, inevitably the little kids, the adults, and the older folks, they all sort of turn and sort of smile, or like I'll just see them nodding and singing along. That's one of those songs that, it's just, when you start playing those notes that everyone there is going to hear it and they're going to enjoy it. It's one of those songs that sort of cuts across everyone, whether, the little kids don't know it's the Beatles. They just know that melody and it's nice. And, obviously the older folks sort of tend to think, I remember where I was the first time I heard this song. So that's one of those songs that whenever I play it, just like it gets a lot of smiles. And while I'm not there again as a performer, I'm just there because it's nice and fun to do. You always want to, if you are playing music, it's always nice when you see people smiling or nodding along. It just makes you feel good.
Yeah, a very, very cool story. Very positive, positive sound and melody to it as well. All right. Absolutely. Last question. Question that, is the standard music question, of the last 30 years. You are trapped on an island. You can only bring 3 albums with you, and they might be your favorite. They might have the replay value. Which 3 albums would you take with you for the lifetime?
Okay. I'm going to take Sublime's 40 Ounce to Freedom. Not because every song is great, because they're not, but because it has a really wide variety of stuff that I can listen to many times. I haven't mentioned this band, but I probably would take Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. It's a double album, again, with a lot of variety to it. It's got some really heavy stuff. It's got some really mellow stuff and everything in between. Oh boy. And then I would probably then need to go, again, if I'm on an island and I don't have Bob Marley, I would probably just take, Legend. It's a cop-out. It's a greatest hits album. But again, like one of those, I love reggae music. And first time I ever heard Bob Marley, I was just like, what is this? This is fantastic. So those would be my 3 off the top of my head. You're asking me, that's what I'm taking.
Fantastic choices. Well, Mr. Grisham, thank you so much for, I enjoy this. I was on your podcast, and it's always weird, being on the other side of things, because I'm usually like to ask the questions. And thank you so much for taking some time. As you and Tessaouija and many others say, time is precious. And anyone that spends time with us, we heartfelt thanks to that. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll see you around on your streams mainly on Sundays and Mondays. And if you wouldn't mind, we're going to go to a break. If you can play us out with some I've Been Everywhere, Man.
You got
for
it.
the subscribers on the break here. Thanks again. We'll be back, guys, in 1:30 with our last guest. Thank you so much.
You got it, my friend. It was a pleasure. Congratulations. And I'm always happy to come on and chat with you anytime.
Okay. Take care.
You too. Cheers.
All right, welcome back, and we are just about ready for our last guest today on the 100th episode, 1,000 followers. Again, thank you. So I'd like to name all 1,000 of you, but it would just take a long time. But I really, really do appreciate all 1,000 plus of you and all the followers, subscribers, and so on. Before we get to our last guest, we're going to end off this contest here. We got 96 entries. You got 10 seconds left. If you're not entered already, exclamation ticket, exclamation enter gets you into the draw. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giveaway is closed. We got 99 entries. Again, if the winner can send me a whisper on Twitch here. Let me put it in the chat. And let me know if you want the PT Plus 1 month membership, do you want the Game Key license, or do you want the 15 packs? So the winner is Lisa Loves Biology. Congratulations. Lisa Loves Biology. So again, please send me a whisper of which prize you would like to receive. And I thank you for following the stream today. Okay, we have one more guest to go through. Let me just switch some windows around here, get on the right one. And my last guest, very meaningful to the community, to OOTP, to everyone out there, and to myself. This is a person that, although Kidnies was the first I reached out to get advice on how to start everything up, this individual was the guy that really helped me along, taught me a lot about OBS, taught me a lot about Twitch, taught me a lot about, how to run a stream. And so, of course, you know him, you love him, Mr. Gorgo2005 is in the house. Welcome, Gorgo. Give us an update how you've been doing.
Hey, thank you so much, Lap. I appreciate your kind invitation to come on your stream and help you celebrate your 100 and your 1K. And congratulations on both milestones. Very much clapping for you on this behalf, but right now I've got a little bit of a sprain in one of my wrists, so I'm not going to actually clap right now.
The community will clap for you.
Thank you. But anyway, just to give everybody an update on where we've been since I retired back on April 19th. We had a very successful doctor visit, much more successful than I guess I could have dreamed about. And for the time being, we are holding off entering a care facility for the two of us together. We're going to stay and try to ride out as much time as we can here in our own home, and like I say, ride out the situation as it progresses over time. And we're not going to have to go into a care facility right away, but might maybe 6 months, maybe a year. We have a referral that is ready to happen anytime we want to turn on the trigger, and that referral will probably result in us moving into the care facility. But in the meantime, we're doing great. I've been playing a little bit of OOTP. I've been drawing some cards that I do believe that Lap already knows about, because he asked me in advance of this, what cards have you drawn that are pretty good cards? Okay, that is since I retired. But what the first thing I wanted to do, though, other than just talk about my current situation, is to thank every single one of you out there in OOTP land for your support and your very kind thoughts and words that you've been passing to me privately, publicly, whatever. But let you know that it's heartfelt from right here, that I appreciate anything and everything that the people have done in support of my personal situation and in support of the household here at Casa Gore, we are still going strong and making do with what we have, and doing quite well in the meantime. So anyway, but
that's fabulous news, and thank you for updating myself and the community. Lots of love for you in the chat here, Gorgo. Tons of well wishes, tons of Gorgo emotes, and for those of you that are new and haven't had a chance to catch Gorgo when he streamed during, I think it started with Perfect Team 22, wasn't it?
21. Oh no, I started streaming on 22. Yes,
22.
You are right. You're right. But I started playing the game on 21. I did not get the equipment that was capable of doing any streaming until 22.
All right. Well, we miss your streams, and we hope there'll be an opportunity, even if it's intermittent, to have you come back. But in the meantime, if you could give us these Gorgo catchphrases, let's hear these phrases from the master.
Okay. Well, you when you ever come on my streams, you can depend on me getting the patented Gorgo pack luck. And if I draw something really, really good, I go, oh, baby. Okay. And I would also do, let's see, I don't even know if it's going to come through. Because I can hear it on my side, but it's not on my microphone, but it is on my stream deck. And I don't think it's going to come through. I can probably hear it, but I'll bet that Lap can't.
No. I think we know the song though, for sure.
All right. Okay. If you can't hear it right now, then nobody else can hear it. Okay. But in any event, whenever somebody would subscribe to the channel, we would do a little audio snippet of You're the Best Around. Then I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, which is not a Tim McGraw quote. It is not a Tim McGraw quote. It goes back to my junior high basketball days. Like in 7th and 8th grade, if there was ever a situation where I had to shoot 2 foul shots, and I would make the first foul shot, the cheerleaders would go, I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. Okay, that was many, many moons before Tim McGraw ever came out with a song of the same ilk. Okay, the Gorgo Shopping Network. Okay, there you go. All right, that is when I put my cards up for sale that I don't need. Rounding third and heading for home. That one there is my personal tribute to Joe Nuxhall, Hamilton Joe, that grew up just up the road, up in Butler County, up in Hamilton, Ohio, and became a famous Red, a very legendary Cincinnati Red, and also later in his career, he was a radio and sometimes on TV man for the Reds broadcasts. And he would always have a star of the game show. Whoever the player was that he happened to pick as being the star of the game, whether it be a Reds player or somebody in the other team, he would visit with them and do a quickie interview with them, and at the end of the interview, he would give a prize to his interviewee, like a $50 gift certificate to the Montgomery Inn restaurant, okay, in Cincinnati, okay, or that sort of thing. He would give a free prize to his interviewee, and then he would say goodbye to his audience by saying, "This is Joe Nuxhall, rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone." Okay, and if you ever make it to Great American Ballpark on the extreme north side of the outside of the ballpark, go see it sometime at night, because it's up there in neon, baby. They have Joe Nuxhall quoted up there. And that's the third base side of the stadium. The north side is the third base side, and it says rounding third and heading for home. And the first time I saw that, I'm not ashamed to tell you, I cried like a baby. I mean, it hit me right in the feels so much. The old left-hander, yep, somebody put it in there, and that's what Joe's nickname was was the old left-hander. And nowadays you can visit an immortalized version of Joe Nuxhall in the very, very front of Great American Ballpark. There are 3 statues in a line that are on an incline directly in front of Great American Ballpark. Joe Nuxhall is delivering a pitch. At the plate is Frank Robinson. Behind the plate, not Johnny Bench, you have Ernie Lombardi behind the plate. Now, JB has his own statue over by the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, which is another entrance into the ballpark area. He has his own statue there. But in the general vicinity of the 3 main ones there in front of Great American Ballpark, you've got Ernie Lombardi, Frank Robinson, and Joe Nuxhall. Okay, those 3. They are on an incline that is meant to mimic the incline of the old outfield in Crosley Field, which was 2 fields before the Great American Ballpark that they play in now. Crosley Field was like the ballpark for the Reds up through the 1940s, 50s, 60s, I think. And I think in 1970, when they went to Riverfront Stadium, that's when Crosley Field ceased to be. And not long after they tore Crosley Field down, there was a building put up in there that I spent quite a bit of time in, because I retired from a career with the Cincinnati Enquirer newspaper. The printing plant was built on part of the old Crosley Field footprint. So I spent a lot of time working in that building as an IT support guy. So I got to spend a lot of time in Crosley Field, where it used to be, but I never went to a ball game there. I didn't move to Cincinnati until 1990, and by then, Riverfront was rather an old thing. So, but anyway, I've been to. In fact, I moved to Cincinnati in 1990, the last year the Reds won a World Series. That's how lucky I was. So
that's a positive spin, yes.
Right, because if you look at it on the other side, they haven't won one since. So, so you can look at that one of 2 ways.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Good to see it positive. Well, I did reach out to you and asked you, how has the Gorgo pack luck been for Gorgo himself over the last month or so? And you sent me some of the names. So maybe talk about some of the cards you've been able to pull in Perfect Team.
Right. Well, okay, I'll start with my theme team. I haven't formed my theme team yet. EVC has been very, very patient with me. But since I retired from streaming, I've been holding off on spending the time to create my theme team. But my theme team, which is one of my 3, it's one of my 2 alts. I've got 3 teams, my main team, the Flames, and I've got 2 alts. And one of those alts is the future theme team. And I let their packs sit and accumulate until we had well over 400 packs. And we started, I finally got some time and got those packs opened up. And what did I get? What Lap is showing there in 2 of the 3 spots. I picked up the Arlie Latham limited edition 99 card. I got the Noodles Hahn the Latham was a 99, yeah. Noodles Hahn was a 95 card. So those 2 are going to be on my future theme team once I do finally get it formulated. Now, on my main team, oh boy, you see the one in the middle. There aren't very many of these guys traveling around, but I drew this legend Kenny Lofton, which created such a logjam in my outfield on my main team, the Flames, because I have Carlos Beltran already out there. I've got the Topps Mookie Betts. I've got all of the build a lineup perfects are out there that could be out there. I've also got, and I've got Mickey Mantle, the build a lineup topper. He's out there too. So I've got in my outfield already, I've got Lofton, I've got Mookie, I've got Beltran, I've got, who else do I have out there? I've got like 4 or 5 different, I don't have Reggie Smith. He wasn't good enough to make my outfield. Let me get to my team real quick and I can tell you who I've got in my outfield. because right now my memory's kind of hit me on the low end here. So let's go and get to my lineup and in my outfield. Okay, here we. Oh yeah, Turkey Stearns. I forgot about him. So my outfield already consists of Beltran, Mookie, Turkey, and Mickey Mantle and Kenny Lofton. Okay, so when I end up having to put Carlos Beltran into a DH role because he and Mookie platoon in right field, you can see the desperation straits that I'm in with an outfield that's that loaded. Okay, so I've got all of those nice cards sitting out there. In fact, everything from second base on down in my lineup, in my roster, those are all perfects. I'm down to, I think, 6 diamond cards, and everything else that I've got is a perfect card. I'm still running as a starting pitcher 95 Wilbur Wood. I should have replaced him a long time ago, conceptually, but he's been doing so doggone well for me. I have not had the excuse to pull him out. This season, we're in we're in another Diamond League, and we have us. He started out the season 3-0. He's lost 3 in a row since, so I might be starting to think about pulling the plug on the guy. But he started the season 3-0. Now he's 3-3. But Wilbur Wood is in my rotation. The rest of my rotation, let's see. I've got Jose Mendez. I've got Rube Foster. I've got Mickey Lolich build a lineup. I've got Robin Roberts build a lineup. That's the rest of my rotation, along with 95 Wilbur Wood. My bullpen right now consists of David Cohn, Roy Face, who I went out and purchased. I've got Gary Lavelle build a lineup. I've got Johan Santana, live mission reward. I've got Nip Winters from the Negro League collection. I've got Cy Young, whom I went out and purchased. I've got the build a lineup Kenley Jansen in my bullpen, and that pretty much that's my 12 pitcher rotation, or that is my lineup, I should say, my pitching staff. My catching crew, 95 Buster Posey and build a lineup Ted Simmons. Then I've got Berkman playing first base, Lance Berkman build a lineup, and Buck Leonard from the Negro League collection backing him up. Then from them on down, it's all perfect cards. I've got the perfect Jackie. I've got build a lineup Zobrist. I've got build a lineup Chipper Jones. I've got build a lineup George Davis, Willie Wells from the Negro League toppers. That's my infield. Then in the outfield, I already went through that. I've got Mantle, Lofton, Stearns, Beltran, Mookie Betts. And you can see why we've been in Diamond for a few seasons in a row now.
How's your playoff runs been? Have you been close to winning a Diamond League?
I came close once. I was in a league championship series, and I almost rode the wild card magic all the way to the Diamond World Series, but I ended up getting knocked out by the eventual champion of the league. And they ended up going to Perfect League, and I'm not going to name them for their own safety, their own personal safety. I'm not going to name the other two. That's yes. Which is also a fantastic cover for I can't remember for crap. So.
Okay. Oh, under the guise of safety, we are not going to name them. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like you're still really active with playing OOTP. Do you still play the 23 version, or have you kind of left that one?
I left that one behind the moment that 24 went live.
Okay.
And I have not done anything at all in 23 except maybe to go back and look a little bit at EMLB, which is where the Fluffy Kitty Ninja Show is still operating in the 23 universe.
Right.
So I go back on occasion to just to catch up with my my CCP, my community created player, who has a very interesting eponymous name. He is Gorgolicious Booty Womper. Okay. His nickname is Go Booty, and he was named the MVP of the most recent EMLB Futures game. Okay. So he is an up and coming star. I cannot wait to see him make the bigs and see what he can do on a major league roster. But he was the MVP of the Futures game of the most recent one held in EMLB.
Well, and last question I have for you, Gorgo, is I know you always dabble in other games on your streams. One of the things you talk about is, I downloaded this game or try this game out. What other games other than OOTP have you been playing?
Really, since I retired from streaming, not that much. I dabbled a very, very little bit in Fallout New Vegas, and then quickly left that one behind. I've dabbled in Overwatch 2 and left that one behind. I've dabbled in, The Sims 4. I picked up a free version of that one not too terribly long ago and kind of left that one behind. I've done little bits and pieces of lots of different games, but nothing I've really stuck with other than OOTP. But those are the main ones that come to mind. Also, there was a freebie that was out there for a very brief time that was based on the Friday the 13th horror genre, and it was a Friday the 13th killer logic puzzle game where you had to try to guide your Jason carrier, your persona, drag the Jason persona around a maze of different victims and obstacles that get in the way, and you have to try to kill everybody in the prescribed order and end in the prescribed final spot. Okay. So that when you go to kill the last person on that map, then boom, that's it. And there's a new one that comes out every single day. And I haven't been in that one for a better part of month and a half, 2 months. but anyway.
I'm sure the cooking, you're still doing a lot of the cooking too.
I am doing the cooking. In fact, tonight is going to be leftover beef stew from last night. We had a keto beef stew that was killer, and we'll repeat that one again tonight. Then tomorrow night will be a oven roasted chicken that will be topped with a homemade keto version of a Carolina mustard based barbecue sauce. It uses some imitation honey that is sugar-free. It uses some sugar-free sweetener. Oh, and if you hadn't heard this one, by the way, if anybody is doing any artificial sweeteners with erythritol in them as the binding agent to go along with whatever the main sweetening agent is, if you're using erythritol, I just need to make you aware of something. My PhD in mechanical engineering son-in-law clued me on to this, is that erythritol has been linked not on a causation basis, but on a correlation basis. They have found a correlation between erythritol and increased blood clotting factors, okay? So if you don't want to get your blood clotting up on you, then stay the heck away from the erythritol. I am off erythritol now altogether. I'm using my new sweetener blend is made with allulose, okay? I'm using monk fruit with allulose, and there's a brand out there called Besti, Besti, that I've been using faithfully ever since I found out about how bad erythritol can be for your system. Okay, so allulose is the way to go. In fact, allulose is the basis of my imitation honey that I used in the Carolina keto barbecue sauce, and it's delicious. I'm here to tell you right now. Put some of that on some chicken, and you're in heaven. I can attest to that. My wife can attest to that, and she's not a keto person anyway, but she still does keto along with me as far as supper goes. Breakfasts and lunches, we're kind of on our own. We do our own thing for breakfast and lunch. But when supper rolls around, it's going to be keto all the way, and I have yet to fail in that department. So I'm pretty proud of my record in the kitchen.
Yes, I mean, when you watch a Gorgo stream, it's old school baseball stories, it's cooking, it's the newest games or some of the newest games out there, and it's just storytelling. Like you could do an audio podcast of just Cincinnati history and baseball, and people will listen. Gorgo, you are
wow. That sounds like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, you're a pleasure to listen to, and thank you so much for sharing your stories. Thank you so much for coming on stream today. I wanted to save you to the last because I wanted kind of a nice little surprise to end off with you coming back on. It's been a while since we've heard from you other than Discord, and it was a pleasure chatting with you.
And thanks, Lap. It's been a pleasure being here too. And I know the true reason you put me on last, because you knew once you got me started, you weren't going to get me stopped. And you can go as late as you want to when you put me on at the end.
And we have to fit your own Gorgoism at the bottom there, right? You're the last guy coming home here, so
This is Gorgo2005, rounding third and heading for home. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and we will catch you all later around the bend. Good night,
thank
everyone.
you so much. Thank you so much, and all the best to you and your family.
Thanks, Lap. We appreciate you so much. Take care now, everyone.
Wow, that was a special moment. Last few in all the interviews today, special moments getting to know some of these people today. We have one more break and one more giveaway to do, guys. Hang in there. We will be raiding over into the Dr. Dynastic show, but I do want to address a few things, some closing comments before I end off here today. And yes, I'm going a little bit longer. It's my 100th episode. Yeah, timing wasn't the best, but I got a few things to say to end off the show. So one more break, guys. We will be back with our last giveaway in about a minute and a half. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back in, guys. A few more minutes here before we end off the show. One last time, one more giveaway here that we're going to start up. Again, your choice of 15 packs or one PT Plus month membership or one game license for PC or for Mac or for Steam. So one last chance at a giveaway. If you've won already, maybe allow someone else the chance to win it. And you guys, again, have been awesome. Thank you so much. So a few closing comments. So much thought and effort has been put into this 100th episode. What do I do? What can I present? How can I make this special, not only for me, but for you guys as well? And I reached out to a few people, and I could have had 10 more individuals on, but just didn't have the time. And I want to thank everyone that was on today. Cobra, I want to thank Kidnies. I want to thank EVC, GT Sundown, Rich Grisham, and of course, Gorgo2005 for being part of this. Streaming on Twitch does bring a lot of, satisfaction, and I really get a thrill out of it. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's not, gonna, buy me $1 million house. It brings in some coffee money. That's how I feel when you guys subscribe or chip in or get bits or whatever they do on Twitch. It buys me a cup of coffee, and it's like, well, thank you for that cup of coffee, or it feeds my 9 cats. More like it. That's probably what it does. So thank you to all the recent subscribers. Thank you to those that subscribed today, over the last month, 2 months ago, even if you subscribed 4 months ago and just did it the one time. Thank you so much. Really motivates me to keep going. But for me, it's the community. The community is the main reason why I do this. I enjoy chatting back and forth on my Discord or here in the streams. I enjoy spotlighting community members, with Heath Dog. Heath Dog was, the first guy that gifted out a bulk number of subs a while back, and got to know him and North Carolina and the Durham Bulls. And, I've had a good friendship with Heath, on Discord as well. And he is a great manager in Perfect Team. I expect some big things of him in Perfect League when he gets there. He will get there. Mr. Reed, I spotlighted him and Silver Spring and the Oreo and his love of the Oreos. We talked about, I think it was the Pickle Pub, in Baltimore, and looked at the stadium. Wildcat Bandit, who I spotlighted as well. Oklahoma City, offline. We've talked about tornadic activity and weather, and I learned about, Mickey Mantle, I think, being born in Oklahoma, or Johnny Bench, or both. And his, the Killer Bees. I enjoy the community aspect, and there's many, many, many more of you as well. Many people. And these are only the subscribers in May. big shout out. The names in red have gifted other subs. They've been generous and gifted out subs to other people. Cubs fan Steve has been here the longest. I think he's on his 7th or 8th month right now. Thank you so much, Cubs fan 23 Steve, and everyone else here. I've got to know you guys, and not in a stalker kind of way. We've looked at the map, and I know about the bookstore in Portland, Oregon because of Alex. I know about IBDB and Dr. Dynastic and, the subscribers from the Washington area. Of course, we've got Brent 3232, and his, life in Boise, Idaho. Recently, we've talked about Iowa and Des Moines in Iowa with MC. Who was that? MCB 701. Learned a little bit about, Devil Dog and life in the Ontario area. Again, mystery in the Baltimore area. Sarasota with the King, in Sarasota. Just so much. And then even overseas with our European and Asian viewers, Andy from Sheffield, and Andy sending me pictures on Discord. Lap, here's a ball I caught, I think when I was in Baltimore, if I remember correctly. I think it was Andy that caught this ball, or sharing a story of, Lap, I'm at the Sheffield game. They were down 4-0 in this aggregate series, and they came back and won to advance a couple weeks ago. It's stories like that keep me coming back and wanting to create content for you guys. So thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for allowing me my, silliness of traveling along the world and sharing the weather, all those kind of quirky things that probably most streamers don't do. But I get a big kick out of it. And, even, some people from Australia, New Zealand breaks, people from all over the world just love this game. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity. Hope to see more of you guys as the streams continue. I am back on Thursday with the Hawk Report. I think Charles should be back on board for Thursday. I have to reach out to Charles from Warbot. And yeah, the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday streams should keep on continuing. B+. Thank you guys for entering throughout the day. Thank you once again to the 6 guests that I had on. And again, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. We saw so much kindness during this stream today, whether it's gifting of subs or guests coming on, you guys sharing your comments. Every little bit helps to make this a better world. Laptop Hound signing out of the studio. We'll see you next episode. Let's go raid Dynastic.